Right, welcome back, folks. Wow, what a weekend it was. But before we start talking about the score, Western Province Club Rugby Sevens, big thanks, of course, to our partner with us, MChem 24 Hour Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And, of course, Score Energy Drinks. Score was, of course, the official partner to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens that happened at Villages Brookside this past weekend. Wow, all expectations. Jerome, what a day.
Yeah, great day, must say. Also, the weather played a part, so everything was really a great day at Villages.
Yeah, Faisal, welcome. Of course, I don't really need to say welcome anymore, but I mean, it must have been everything. It must have been everything that you hoped for.
No, definitely. I think, as administrators, you take a lot of flack in terms of making stuff work, and if it doesn't work, then you get flack. If it works, there's praises. So I must commend and say, well done to all the clubs that were there on Saturday. I think the feedback received was awesome, and overall, the day was great. Weather was perfect. Rugby was awesome. The teams there, I think we outdid ourselves in terms of again showcasing. I think Jerome, has got his hands cut out for himself in terms of the talent and what we have in that there. So we can be proud. It's Western Province.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome, when you look at the guys playing there on Saturday, and of course you know them all because they've been playing across the clubs. We know all these guys, but we've been watching them play 15s. I mean, when you look at these players, and I must say, some of these guys look pretty big to me. Like, they really look like you could put them into any Super League A top 4 team.
Yeah, no, you can see the guys are well conditioned, and also the skill level of some of the big boys in the speed.
Yeah,
that's really good, and it's really great to see. I mean, this time of the season, guys are still fit and running and playing. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look, folks. Lots of highlights then today, because we are going to take a look at the group stages. We'll also take a look at the plate semi-finals, the cup semi-finals, as well as the shield and the plate finals. So lots of rugby coming up for you then this evening. That's exactly what it is that you're looking for. Let's get started. The group stage first match there, Tigerberg up against Mikasa. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24 Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Mikasa versus Tigerberg. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24 Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, down to the wire, the very first game there, of course, in the group stage. Tigerberg, Mikasa, Jerome, full-time score there, 14-12. This is Mikasa up against I nearly said South African champions, former score champions. Well, I suppose you could think about it like a South African championships. It's the only one of its kind. But yeah, close score.
Close score, yeah, 2 points. And I think Mikasa could have kicked themselves because they had an opportunity almost win the game, but great game. And you can see the guys know what they were doing. They don't commit too many guys in the breakdown. They play slow when they have to play slow. So you can see it's now really coming to the pool stages where the guys know what they have to do.
So this shows, Faisal, I mean, this shows quite a lot of, and I think you guys have got a sevens coaching course coming up now as well.
Yep.
But it just goes to show that the sevens rugby is, like Jerome said, it's much more, you're not just, I mean, obviously everybody's playing for fun, but the coaches are much more organized.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we can see now in, the final phases and that the teams are, sort of leveled up.
Yeah.
Competition is definitely strength versus strength. And again, I think, like you mentioned, a lot of the teams that are playing have won it before. And, they've got some sort of title, put it that way. So, yeah, definitely, I think, it's exciting.
And it also, I mean, we got Super League A up against Super League B here.
No, I think it says a lot.
It
It
shows
says a
that-
lot about our competition. I think Mikasa was unlucky not to get promotion and that there. And I think from their side, with regards to competing and playing against Tigerberg, it just shows us the vast talent in terms of what they have.
In fact, just a little correction, there's in fact Super League C. It makes it even more interesting. Right, let's go to the next match now. Also, the young people's UWC up here, 2 big splits. Let's take a look. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. All right, well, we're not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet in terms of who was actually in the finals, but suffice to say that 2 of the teams that you saw in this clip were in some of the finals. Jerome, let's start off with you. Well, your students here are the national champions, university champions, going down to young peoples.
Yeah, that's a great result for young peoples, and as you say, I mean, they're the Varsity Cup Sevens champions, UWC. We will expect them to win all the games, but as you were saying, JP, club rugby and varsity rugby, clubs doesn't care if you're varsity champion or
Not
whatever.
in sevens.
Not in sevens,
Not
also
in
not in
15.
15. I mean, guys don't care. So that's the nature of our club rugby and the competitiveness.
Yeah.
And I must say that you're talking about the guys prepared. And I watched the people's coach and the stuff that he do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand sevens.
Yeah.
But you can see this guy's prepared and he knows about sevens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's a sevens coaching course coming up soon, Jerome. I'll get you listed
Okay,
for that.
thanks. Thank you.
We're going to take a break, folks. But suffice to say, the young people's walking away with the win, 19 points to 7 over the students. We'll be back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. Of course, this past weekend, it was the score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens at Brookside, Faisal. Again, the talk about the day itself. Typical entertainment, music. You had prizes up for grab. I mean, you even had a set of tickets up for grabs for the HSBC Sevens that's coming up early in December. I mean, it's what Sevens is all about. Entertainment, music, DJs, teams come and go. It's fast. It's entertaining all the way.
No, definitely. I think, that's one of our challenges that we have, having, 48 clubs participating. It's always about how to create that vibe, the atmosphere, and that. They're obviously coming to the finals a lot easier in terms of planning, preparation, but also from a cost factor, you sort of restricted in terms of budget and that there. But I think, Saturday Pass, it just shows in terms of, activation, in terms of what's needed. And going forward, waiting on feedback from the clubs and that it will, decide in terms of how we.
I mean, I must say, I kind of like the idea that it's almost a plug-and-play solution. You guys put everything on, and what we see is, what I saw on the day was quite a few people sitting on the embankment. They went to their cars, they pulled out their cooler boxes, or they pulled out their. Their little braai packs at them, not braaiing, they weren't braaiing, but the picnic boxes were there. People they had their sandwiches, they were drinking their score energy drinks or their bashes, whatever. It's an easy scenario for entertainment.
No, definitely. I think, it's a stop, start, go sort of atmosphere. I mean, you pick and choose your games. Like you say, you have a break, go down to the bar, get something to drink, have something to eat, come back, watch some rugby, meet people, socialize. So I think that's the sort of entertainment vibe atmosphere that you have at Sevens.
And I think we use this word entertainment, but really, I mean, look at the scores. Talking about the scores, let's take a look. Helderberg were up against False Bay. Helderberg, of course, Super League B in the league, and False Bay Super League A in the league. And in fact, looking at these two teams here, you're talking about the winners from Super League A up against the winners from Super League B. What an exhibition. Let's take a look. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, well, there you go. Helderberg, 2 points win there. Jerome, let's go straight to you. Your thoughts?
Yeah, another 2-point game. You can see the competitiveness, and I think it was a big challenge for Helderberg to play against the Super A champs, so I think that motivated them. Well done. It's a great result for them.
Faisal, we're of course looking at the group stages here still. So this is still early in the competition, early at least in the day. The team still had to play through the group stages to make it into the plates, the semis and the cup. But already we're seeing, even in the group stages, you had to start, I think like Jerome said, and you said last week, you had to start your game plan from your very first game.
No, 100%. Every game was important, key, and vital in that day. So, you know, you've got 2 games to play, and you basically got to win. Sorry, 2 games to play, and you got to win those games. So every game is important. Points are important.
Every game counts. There's no making mistakes on the day, and everything coming down to the wire. I mean, the other thing that, okay, well, let's take a look now, because we've got so many games that we want to show you. Marty's up against Mikasa. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. So we're of course looking at the plate semi-finals there. A win for Marty's, 31 points to 7. Hazel, take us a little bit to what you were talking about now, because we were looking at the different pools there. And in fact, you were mentioning bonus points.
Yeah, I think you're looking at the pool stages, those teams that, you know, managed to pick up a bonus point, pull through. I think Jerome mentioned earlier on, you know, the points difference was 2 points. And, you know, there were some key games where I think, you know, young people's were a bit unlucky not to go through. You know, UWC, winning by 1 point, at least getting extra 1 point with the win against Milnerton that pulled them through. So it's tough, you know, like you said earlier on, you got to win your games, you got to get the points on, but definitely I think, you know, if you do pick up bonus points, then that definitely helped on the day.
And Jerome, looking at it from the sides, I mean, I suppose it took me a little bit by surprise, even though every time I've come to the sevens, that last sort of even 30 seconds of excitement, it grabs you every time, because so many of these games turned in the last 60 seconds, the last minute, or which is 60 seconds, of course, the last 2 minutes of the game. That's how close it was.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to go. It's almost like you don't want to go to the bathroom because you're going to miss in a few seconds. There's a try scored, so you're going to miss that. So you stay and you watch because it's so exciting, and the teams are so equal. Like it could go anywhere. So that was the whole day basically was like that.
Yeah, so folks, of course, we will take a look at some of the pool stages and how it got to where it was, but it's time for us to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the plate semi-finals as well as the cup semi-finals. Young People's is up against False Bay, and Tigerberg up against Hamilton's. We'll be back after the break. Right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. You're watching us here. We're specifically taking a look at this past weekend's Sevens tournament. It was the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens that happened at Brookside after 3 weeks, of course, playing across the 3 different regions. At Helderberg, where it was the Stellenbosch Paarl region, Goodwood, where it was the northern region, of course, the City Park, where it was the southern region. Faisal, one of the things that came strongly for me across was seeing everybody there, obviously, on the day, all the different clubs. And what was quite nice was that, although it was interesting that not many guys came to speak to me about Sevens rugby, they all came to me to say how fantastic it was for the clubs to be together. They were saying to me things like how fantastic it is to see us still put club rugby on TV 12 years later, and that the support for club rugby has continued.
No, definitely. That's what Sevens is about, JP. I think we've been, echoing the whole season, this past couple of weeks in terms of just coming out and just enjoying, the vibe, the atmosphere. And again, it was never about who wins. Yes, it's great. We can see what talent we have. We can see who's coming through. The competitive now this last week, you can see the strength that we have. But I think the biggest goal for us was the participation, just looking at the growth of club rugby, looking at the numbers, and especially during COVID, having to see the clubs through thick and thin. The season was long, a lot of injuries, having to fulfill league fixtures, but still the opportunity to participate in Sevens. So I think it's been a fantastic year for us, just measuring and looking at, the players, looking at the amount of matches that we played. And I'm looking forward to 2023 in terms of growing it and trying to see the increase in numbers.
I mean, Jerome, it's always special when people come and say, listen, thank you. Just those couple of words, thank you. They're not even talking rugby, just thank you.
Yeah, it is, JP. It's like we had a meeting this morning with Mr. Jones, and telling us, because we started with a group of club players now, telling us how positive the clubs were, the feedback he got from the sessions that we have with them. So that is important to know, that people can also say thank you. That is good. So all your hard work that you do, you sometimes think, nothing happened, but people take note. That's good.
Well, folks, we continue to tell the stories. We continue to give the exposure. But of course, at the end of the day, it is the clubs out there that are on the field, and no less than, of course, taking a look now at the plate semi-finals, where Young Peoples were up against False Bay. Everything goes down to the wire. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, folks, so there we go. Plate semi-finals. Well, we just spoke about it. We just spoke about how well is young people's doing. Has young people's done in the sevens, Jerome? I mean, we saw. We also saw there they beat UWC. UWC are the student champions, which means to me, if you had to send young peoples to the Varsity Cup Sevens, they would probably be in a good position to win the Sevens tournament against the rest of the universities in South Africa. Yeah, they go beat False Bay 22-17.
I think they can, but I must say, Faisal, since you started the sevens, young peoples were always up there. Yeah. And well done for them for keeping that, because I mean every year they come when they're sevens and they surprise team. So well done to them for doing that. Then.
This is one of those things that is just so interesting that you certainly can't predict sevens rugby by looking at the league. Super League A's and Super League B's and C's and so on. You arrive here on the day, it can go anyway. I suppose that's one of the things that makes it so interesting, so exciting. But it also goes to show, I mean, we've got quite a mixture, because I think Jerome has said it before, is that we've got some teams who have specialist sevens outfits, but probably the majority of the guys that we saw here were actually regular first team players.
No, I think my personal view is that if you look at the teams in it, I think also the coaching, you must commend. You don't get caught up in that. If you look at some of the teams are very physical, looking at, the Super League A teams in terms of how they play, and it's a different game, it's a different ball game in terms of how you play, and that's why I think if you look at it, the playing fields are level. Anybody can win.
Anything from your side on Jerome before we go to the Tigerberg Hamilton's game, which is of course another 2 Super League outfits?
Yeah, no, if you talk about the coaching, and you can also see like some coaches step aside so that the guy who specializes in seven comes in and coaching. That's also good.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I think also, and I think Faisal, although we are really running a little bit tight on the clock here, but I think we also want to commend the referees, because it's, again, the sevens rugby is an opportunity day. Not only for the players to play sevens who perhaps didn't play in the 15s, but also, as Jerome said, the coaches who did not coach, not only coaches, managers as well, medics, physios, and of course referees on the day. Yeah. What a great opportunity to get into it. I mean, even your Score Sevens Rugby activation team, to be able to come to the venue and put up the banners and the branding and the gazebos, it's all extra opportunity, extra events. This is what sponsors love.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Jerome will agree. I think if you look at the standard of refereeing and you look at what we have here in, in the Cape and that, we can see the quality in that. And I think, whilst we look at players, we look at teams, we also must remember the referees and the standard in terms of themselves, testing themselves. So definitely, I think we're very fortunate in terms of the abundance of talent and the pool of players and referees that we do have.
Well, let's take a look at the Cup semi-final now. Tigerberg Hamilton's. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. So Jerome, Tigerberg, Hamiltons, I mean these two teams that would have come up against each other during Super League A. A Tigerberg scoring a win over Hamiltons. Tiger will be happy with this result, not just from the sevens, but also the gees of the fans and the players.
Yeah, I think Tigerberg in the 15s they had a great season, but I mean they actually now I don't know if they've lost a game here Saturday, but they really did well. And I mean to beat Hamiltons, it's also good for them. But I mean they on the day they were outstanding, playing good rugby, Tigerberg.
Right, folks. Well, as you know, of course, every week we go down to MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Some specials running there at the moment in the orthopedic and surgical zone. In fact, if you go to the MChem website, www.mchemonline.co.za, you'll see a number of specials advertised there for the orthopedic and surgical zone. And of course, all of you will remember Sister Miriam Simon, who's available there to give you the best of advice in a discreet manner in case you need to. Of course, they've got surgical equipment, specialized wound care products, and of course, Sister Miriam is there from 8 a.m. in the morning until 10 p.m. daily to help you with the advice that it is that you need. So, of course, one of the things that we mentioned before was the importance of speaking to a qualified nursing sister or somebody that is proficient in giving you the best advice, because you don't want to get the wrong type of brace as an example for yourself. It could make an injury worse or prolong an injury. But of course, lots of specials on offer at the moment at MChem in the orthopedic and surgical zone. As I mentioned, you can get there and speak to Miriam Simon, Sister Miriam Simon. These specials are running until the end of November. This is the orthopedic and surgical zone. And as I've said before, MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy is of course open 24 hours a day. It's on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. A lot of specials there. For example, you can get yourself a neoprene knee wrap for just $4.99, or a ankle brace for just $2.19. Special air walker braces also at special rates. Well, in fact, folks, I could just carry on and on. There's such a long list of special products in the orthopedic and surgical zone at MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. We'll take a break. When we come back, we carry on talking club rugby. Back in a sec. You're watching Cape Rugby TV here on Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263. And for those of you that are not aware, Cape Town TV, of course, now broadcasting through the digital environment as well. The set-top boxes are all over the country. So you have it now here on DSTV, you have it free to air in Cape Town, and you have it on what's called DTT, or Digital Terrestrial TV. It's all around the country, all around the set-top boxes. So right now, as you stand as you're watching the show, it's being watched all over the world. All right, folks, as you know, we were, of course, at the Sevens Rugby Tournament this past weekend. The SCORE Western Province Club Rugby Sevens Tournament, kindly supported by CTC Sports, and our next cup final, semi-final at least, UWC up against Helderberg. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and SCORE Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. UWC Helderberg, full-time score there. UWC then 31 points to 12. I don't know, Jerome, is there any worth any comment there? UWC seem to be finding their momentum. I mean, they're now into the at this stage of the game, they're in their cup semi-final.
Yeah.
They seem to struggle a little bit in the beginning stages, but they warmed up into it.
Yeah, and one thing that they did well in this game, they starved Helderberg of ball. Because Helderberg has a few good runners, so they were quite good spot on. And I think coaches start to analyze while they're there on the field to what they can do and what they mustn't do. So I think they just starved Helderberg from ball.
Let's take a look. Shield final now. Tigerberg against Unimo. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right then, a win for Tigerberg, 26 points to 12 in the Shield final there, and of course going through. Right, as you know, this is the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens, and of course on the day, Score giving away a set of cases, a couple of cases of Score energy drinks, and of course, Faisal, you gave away a set of, or you're still in the process of giving away some tickets to the Cape Town Sevens.
Yeah, definitely. Something to look forward to, something to work towards.
Cape Town Sevens coming up as well, so a lot of excitement. Everyone's talking Sevens rugby at the moment. Right, folks, well, of course, as you know, every week we give one of our Facebook viewers a opportunity to win a case of Score energy drinks here on the show. Tonight, I'm going to give the panel an opportunity to guess the ball, where the ball is, and then we're going to be putting this on Facebook. So this is where you got to go. Once you see this picture, if you want to win the case, you've got to go to the Facebook page, our Cape Rugby TV Facebook page, and see if you can spot the ball. We'll give the winner, of course, next week. Of course, tonight we'll give the winner of last week's competition, where our panel had an opportunity as well. Jerome, would you like to give it a shot? A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3, and of course, that's it. Those are your 9 options.
I go C1.
You're gonna go with C1. Faisal, would you like to give it a shot?
I'm gonna go to take a wild guess, and I will go with B2.
You're gonna go with B2. I know that these photographs are reasonably sneaky, so I'm going to go with C3 in case there's a wild chance that the ball is under his feet. All right, folks, go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and you put yourself in the mix to to win that that prize. Congratulations to last week's winner who correctly spotted the ball, Xavier Lee Solomons. Xavier, we'll reach out to you on Facebook Messenger, and you can come and collect your case of Score energy drinks. We'll take a break. When we come back, we carry on talking club rugby. Back in a sec. It's Cape Rugby TV here on Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263. 12 years later, and the show keeps still going strong as we keep talking about club rugby. Let's take a look now. Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens this past weekend in the plate final. Marty's up against Young Peoples. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, so well done then, of course, to the team so far. Of course, the Marty's 22-19 of Young Peoples. If I remember correctly, Marty's was in fact the first winners of this competition. Now we're seeing that even though we've gone through a process and we've got good teams there, teams are stronger across the board. The standard has increased tenfold.
No, I think definitely over the years you can see the numbers have, the teams have grown in terms of, you know, the 7 specialists and that there. Yeah, I think like you said, Marty's were the original winners of the tournament and that they're now playing in the plate final. So it just shows it's good for us. The numbers increasing, the amount of clubs, you know, it's very competitive.
Yeah, Marty's taking it down to the wire there in a couple of nerve-wracking moments. But wow, incredible performance from Young Peoples throughout the entire tournament. In the cup final, this was the big one. It was Tigerberg up against UWC. Tigerberg, of course, former university, at least former Score Sevens champions. UWC, current university champions. Could not get any closer. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. There we go, folks. The cup final winners then of the Score Western Province Club Rugby 2022 season. Tigerberg again. The Tira fans will be absolutely thrilled with us. Jerome, Tigerberg, they've come and done it again.
Yeah, you could see at the end there's drop goal. You could see they just want to win the thing because there was nothing on. The guy dropped over, and it's quite far from the pole, so you could see they're desperate and they really want.
Was that a bit of a time killer? Like put the drop over to knock away seconds?
Yeah, I would say so because that was almost at the end there.
Yeah. Faisal, are the guys aware of the clock during the game? Do they know how much time is left?
No, definitely. I mean, those coaches are on top of their game. I mean, seconds, splits, whatever, they constantly, I think, especially from an admin table, you're constantly engaging with them, so it's a different ball game. Next to the field, coaches, managers, everybody's on their own, sort of buzz and that they are.
Right, so there we go then. Congratulations, Tigerberg, 13-5, UWC. And we're, of course, looking to see where it goes next. But wow, folks, what an incredible event. 3 weeks of Sevens rugby. We're looking forward to seeing more. I'm sure we're going to see more and more. Don't forget, Faisal, of course, one of the things now is coaching for Sevens. I mean, get in there.
No, definitely. I think that, as much as the games are finished, the planning is done, the fixtures are done, the Sevens is done. We're looking at workshops now. We're looking at planning for next year. We're looking at, I've already started looking at fixtures for next year as well.
Wow,
so there's no rest. There's always something.
Talking about no rest, Jerome, definitely they say there is no rest for the wicked. That would put you on top of the pile. I believe you've got close on 70 club rugby players coming to you at the High Performance Centre at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not weak, I just like to work. Yes, JP, so we started the program now, so we're going to follow a 6-week program till the 14th of December with club players coming in. We test them Monday evening, so we had 70 players in. So testing is from weight, height, and then we did jump testing in the gym, and they did running outside on the field.
Why?
So
Why? What's the purpose of testing?
The purpose of testing for us is to see where the guys are and to sort of work out programs for them and what they can follow, and just to help the clubs also and give them a basic idea of where the guys are and where they can get to.
Faisal, of course, Jerome's got the clubs at the High Performance Centre. What's happening with our women's rugby? Are we doing any testing there?
Yeah, definitely. I think also, parallel to what Jerome is doing as well, it's also the testing taking place, I think, this weekend with the seniors. The under-20s have been busy now for the last couple of weeks as well. So
this is women's rugby?
Women's rugby, there's definitely a lot planned. I think, from our side, I think from Jerome's side, the opportunities are there. It's about creating that pathway for the players, giving them the opportunity, preparing them for the next level. And I think, we must commend the clubs having 70 players at this time of the year. It's up to them now, to take the opportunity with both hands and, follow the program. 70
players, there's quite a variety of clubs.
Yeah, we started off with the Super A and Super B clubs, and then as Faisal said, really heads off to the club coaches. We had a meeting last week to discuss this and to get this players was good from all the clubs. I mean, it's from Mammary, Strand, wherever, all over.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic opportunity for our club rugby players to join there at the High Performance Centre in Belleville, where you will of course see the DHL Curry Cup and the Stormers players also in training. Folks, that's a wrap from us this evening. Jerome, Faisal, thank you very much.
Thank you, JP, and good evening. Thank you to listeners as well.
Yeah, Jerome.
Thank you, JP.
There we go, folks. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.